Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Stephanie and this is the Farmhouse Mom. Today I'm going to give you an update on my review of the NutriMill Harvest grain mill. Also give you some troubleshooting tips because we did have to send our NutriMill back and we got a new one. So I'm gonna let you know what was wrong with it and maybe you're having the same issues. But first we're gonna clean the kitchen up, get it nice and ready, and then we'll go ahead and grind some grain and I'll let you know kind of how it's been the last 3 months. So let's get to work. Okay, kitchen is cleaned. So I think I'm first gonna give you a little tour of the kitchen, just kind of my everyday kitchen, and then we'll talk about the NutriMill, the grain mill, and issues that I had with it, and maybe you have the same issues and it might help. So let's go ahead and take a look at the kitchen. All right, so, and if you hear anything in the background, my son is watching the show. So this is my farmhouse kitchen, just kind of in its everyday state. We have a little mini fridge here, so it's always Miller time. I keep moving my utensils from here to here. I'm just trying to, and this is not organized at all. We just kind of have things thrown up. I usually keep my iron skillet on the stove because I use it several times a day. And I've been getting to where, honestly, I'm just keeping out the stuff that I use. And I'm kind of have this little cabinet for stuff that I use. So we use steel cut oats, corn flour, sugar, we use that all the time, and I just have kind of had this functional right now. I use all of these baking goods and I use them almost every day. I keep my KitchenAid and my grain mill, my sourdough starter, and any, I broke the lid to that, so I need a new lid. And, you know, here's my little goats. I usually have my chicken bowl where I put scraps, and I need to make some banana bread. So here's the kitchen, and these are the items that we're gonna be using to talk about the NutriMill today. Okay, I'm hoping that this is a nice enough camera angle where you can kind of see everything that we're gonna do. So I'm just gonna push these bowls aside. So the problem I had with my NutriMill is I could not get any fine flour. And so if you watch the first video, that is the first time I actually used it. So here's what the flour was sifting out to be. So it was very, very coarse, really coarse. And I tried for 3 months and I thought maybe it's just me. I don't really know how it's supposed to work. I also sifted it with a 40. Are you okay, Butters? You're okay? All right. So I did a 40 and a 60 sieve to try to sift it out, and I thought maybe that's the problem, because you are not going to get super, super fine all-purpose flour, especially with einkorn. However, it's not supposed to be that coarse. And so this is my einkorn, and I thought maybe that was the issue. So I got a soft white wheat. So soft white wheat is gonna be for pastries. And I actually have not ground the soft wheat yet. I've just only done the einkorn. So let me tell you some of the problems that I had, and you might have the same thing. So it was not grinding fine at all, like I said. So after 3 months of being on the struggle bus with it, I emailed the company and they sent me a new one. So this is my new one. We went ahead and cleaned it out with rice, because I forgot to do that the first time. So I cleaned it out with rice, and I put the grain in the grain hopper, and I, kind of listened to them rub together a tiny bit, and then I put it to fine, and it ground fine flour, and it was good. And so a suggestion that the gentleman who was helping me, the customer service gentleman, was to kind of regrind the gritty grain that I got out that I had before. So I went ahead and reground this, and it proceeded to make a paste on the stones. Let me see if I can get one of the stones out. It was like really pasty on the stone. It's not there right now. And so I scrubbed and scrubbed. You're not supposed to clean it with water. I did not. And I couldn't figure out what to do. So I just used my rice to clean it. So that's how you clean it out if it gets like hot, sticky, pasty. It was like glue on it. So clean it out with rice, and it cleaned it out in 10 seconds. So clean it with rice in the beginning and clean it with rice periodically. I found that that really helped. So I also have had a viewer ask about what do you do when the knob doesn't turn, because my knob was not turning at all. So after we got the second mill and it worked really great to grind the rice, I was very excited, it was very fine. And then I ground some of the einkorn and then some of the really coarse grain, the bran that had come out of it, it started not working, and it started where you couldn't even turn the knob. So what it is you need to take off these screws, and this part in here is plastic, so it's threaded and it's plastic and it goes together. I'm not going to take it apart because I just don't want to. So if you can see the screws, you can take it apart, and then there is these two pieces, and it's threaded. And what happens is, I don't know if it's because it's plastic and it's not metal, but little pieces of grain get stuck down there, and then it makes it really difficult. It should be like this. My first NutriMill never made this sound, ever. Even with the first time I tried it. So I did not clean it with, oh look, a little piece of grain fell out. I did not clean it with rice at the beginning, but I don't think that would have made a difference, because the minute I put the grain in, it probably would have got stuck. So if you're getting to where the knob does not turn, take it apart, and there's probably a little grain or a little wheat berry stuck in between, stopping you from turning it. So that's my first troubleshooting tip. And actually my first one is, if your machine's not working, call the company. That's the whole reason that I did an American-made machine. And even, I ordered mine off of Amazon, but I didn't email Amazon. I emailed the company right away. They didn't ask any questions. I just sent pictures of what came out. I sent pictures of after I sifted it, what it looked like. And he asked a few questions like, are you turning it all the way to fine? And I said, yes, I'm turning it all the way that I physically can, because it was really hard to turn. So he just sent me a new one. I didn't try to repair the old one because I didn't want to deal with it. They sent me a new one. I wanted to use this one. So that's your first troubleshooting, is clean it, take this apart, see if there's anything stuck. So I'm happy to say that I have got some nice fine flour. Maybe this is turned down too far and it's pushing it down. And then again, see, okay, I'm getting to where I couldn't turn the knob. So I definitely think it's a learning curve. It's not, I don't know if that plastic piece should be metal or should be something. So we're gonna clean it out with some rice really quick, and I'm just gonna turn it on. Yes, honey bun. Just watch your show, okay? All right, so here we go. Cleaning out the machine. This is not super fine because I didn't turn it super fine, but for just a minute. But this is what it looks like. So I'm gonna dump this in my chicken bowl so my chickens can eat it. We're gonna turn the machine on. I'm gonna get a scoop. I don't have to keep scooping my fingers in there. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna turn it. So we start to hear them rubbing together, and then I'm gonna back off. And the only thing that I don't like is you're not supposed to, here, I'll get the manual and show you what it says. Is you are supposed to, you know, turn it until you hear them rub, and then turn it slightly so the rubbing noise stops, and then you put your grain in the mill, so that first bit of grain that's coming out is not ground really fine, and that really affects your recipe, and it affects your sourdough starter, because it's harder for that sourdough starter to rise when it's like a really chunky, you know, grain. It's really branny. So what I have done is just try not to dump that part off, or just try to sift it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do what the instructions say. So we're gonna turn it on, it's gonna slightly, and then we're gonna slightly back it off. So I'm gonna put it in and then just get it as quickly as I can, get it fine, but you're still gonna get some kind of rough flour there in the beginning. So I don't love that. Any grain between my fingers, so it comes out really slow, and the machine does get a little warmer. I'll tell you after it's done. Alright, we're gonna put this on. So I know this is loud, but I just want to show you what's actually happening. So it's going pretty slow, but it does take a long time, so I do one batch because I don't want it to get overheated. So we're going to go ahead and fill this up, and then we'll work on our sourdough starter. Okay, so we've got our little, we're gonna clean this real quick. Okay, so I'm just gonna clean this. You don't like that show? All right, I'm just gonna clean this over my chicken bowl. And then, I mean, I just lift this up and dump it. I don't know how else you're supposed to get like that flour out, so. This is kind of my bowl of the coarser flour that came out before I turned it to fine, and then this is what we've got here. So I'm just gonna put this, oopsie. Actually, I don't need to put this in my chicken bowl. I can save that with my course. So, okay, so when I make muffins or pancakes or whatever. Okay, honey, let me finish getting this cleaned. Fix your TV? Okay, just a minute. What are you watching?
Police cars.
Police cars? Awesome.
Police cars. See, these cars, they're awesome.
They are so awesome. Police cars are so awesome. Gee, and this thing is heavy too. Okay, so that's cleaned. I'm gonna go fix this TV, and then I'm gonna show you how I reassemble it. Okay, so this is kind of a little bit coarser flour. You can kind of, I don't know, it's just a little coarser. I can feel grain in between. This is what we got out of one hopper full. No, I don't know how much it is. I don't know what size bowl this Pyrex is. But one grain hopper full usually fills this up for me. And so I will clean this out with a little bit of rice maybe. I'll let it cool down first. So I just put the top stone back in, and then I couldn't do it with two hands, so I doubt I'll be able to do it with one hand. Okay, good. Lock that up. And then I'm just going to put that back on my counter. I usually just keep my NutriMill where it is, plugged in over in the corner. But I was just bringing that over today. I am gonna put this little scrap in my chicken bowl just because it's a little coarse and it's not that much, and it doesn't hurt the chickens to have some einkorn. So, okay. So I'm going to, I'm gonna make some banana bread later. I've got some bananas over there. So I'm just gonna save this little bit of coarser. I don't mind putting that in the flour. And then I'm just gonna add to my sourdough starter. So I kind of switch back and forth. The einkorn has been really good, even with the rougher texture. Pancakes, muffins. I've been making Dutch babies all this week because they're so easy. They're so incredibly easy, just like a big German pancake. And I just put it in my 12-inch iron skillet and just put it away. Hey, honey, did you leave the door open? No. Someone's here.
What?
You didn't leave the gate open?
No.
Okay, my stepdaughter's here. Every time we see someone come down the driveway, you know, we have it locked and we have dogs, and so people don't just stop by. So I saw a car coming and I'm like, who's here? All right, so we are going to add our fresh flour to our sourdough starter. So what we're gonna do here is I am going to put my einkorn, and this is all, I have been using it with the flour that I mill. So I'm gonna be making banana bread, banana blueberry muffins, and I want some left over for pancakes in the morning. So I'm gonna make quite a bit of sourdough starter, and I'm just gonna keep an eye on it all day, and then, okay, I'll get you some sprinkles. And then when it's ready, I'm just gonna start baking, so. Okay, and I'm gonna try to, this is a nice consistency that usually works for me, so I'm gonna stir it nice, and then put my starter up, and then I just put it on without a seal, and I just place it over it in my little area. So if you are wanting really fluffy bread, I think you I have not done a hard white wheat or a hard red wheat. I am gonna order that off of my next Azure standard order. But if you're wanting a really soft, like hamburger bun or something like that, I feel like you have to have some all-purpose flour, or you have to have a sifter. You can buy a sifting machine and then you can sift your flour with a machine, but hand, it's not gonna work. But like I said, I like the einkorn because I like that whole wheat flavor. My husband and my boys, they like the more of the white flavor. So I try to do a little bit of both. When we do our baked goods, I don't mind the hearty whole wheat. But when it comes to pizza night, Friday night pizza night, then I usually use some all-purpose flour and I don't grind it, but I'm gonna work up to it and see if I can develop a really nice recipe where I can just mill my own flour and then possibly get them used to kind of like a heartier flavor, because it's better for you anyway. So all right, well, thanks for watching, and I promise I'm going to do a lot better at getting my videos up on a weekly basis, and I really appreciate you subscribing, and thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.